and today we're doing a quick grammar lesson on when and when not to use a hyphen. Lots of people are confused on this concept. I will clear it up for you today so you're an expert at hyphens by the end of this video. Let's get started. So many of us have not been taught explicit grammar, meaning we have not had the grammar pulled out away from writing and diagrammed sentences and learned when and when not to use hyphens and semicolons and all of that. And so concepts like hyphens tend to be things that we just kind of use whenever we think they belong in a word. And I'm here to tell you, just like mathematics, grammar has specific rules that you need to follow when writing. So today I'm going to clear up the hyphen mystery and make sure that you know when to use a hyphen and when not to use a hyphen. All right. The most common way to use a hyphen is when the hyphenated word is being used as an adjective before a noun. So let's hop over to my presentation so you can see this in context. So I have yes. So every time we're going to use a hyphen, it's going to be in green here. So you'll be good to go for a hyphen here. So let's take a look at this first sentence here. Today we will set short-term goals for the company. Notice that goals is the noun and short-term is the adjective describing goals. They also sometimes will call this a modifier or a compound modifier because it's two words. So when the adjective, when the hyphenated word, or when the compound modifier, if you're a super nerd like I am, when that comes before the noun and serves as the adjective, you hyphenate. Here's another example. Number 2. The scandal involved a well-known politician. Politician is the noun. Well-known is the adjective, and well-known is modifying the politician. Notice that it comes before the noun. And let's check out number 3. We were sure to use well-established routines. Well-established is modifying routines. Routines is the noun. Well-established is the compound modifier or the adjective, and it comes before routines. So in this case, all of the hyphenated words are used correctly. So again, use the hyphenated word when it comes before the noun. That's the best way to talk about it. And when you're using a compound modifier, but it has to come before the noun it is modifying or describing. Now, we do not use the hyphenated word when it comes after the noun. So let's take a look at those sentences I just wrote and look at them rewritten in a different way. Here's number 1. The goals we will set today are short term. Now, I can't tell you how many times I see in people's writing, they still hyphenate short term because they think long term, short term, and other words are just hyphenated all the time. And no, as my grandmother would say, that would be incorrect. We do not want to hyphenate short term here because the compound modifier is coming after the word goals. And so short term would not be hyphenated in this situation. Let's take a look at number 2. The politician involved in the scandal is well-known. Now, well-known is another word that's hyphenated a lot, and most of the time people will just hyphenate it regardless of where it is in the sentence. Again, no. In this case, well-known is after the politician it is modifying, and so we would not hyphenate well-known because it comes after the noun it's modifying. And finally, 3, we need to be sure our routines are well established. Again, well established is modifying routines, but it is doing it after the word routine. And in this case, we would not hyphenate it. So be careful, just because it's like well known or well established, typically words that have this well in front of it, people just automatically throw the hyphen in there. Remember, when it comes after the noun, no hyphen. If it comes before the noun, yes, hyphen. Another way you might use a hyphen is when we talk about compound numbers. So words like 27, 32, 45, those numbers are going to be hyphenated when we write out the word, all right? Now, let's take a look at sentence number 1. We can see our grade conscious teacher is 47 years old. So I threw in this grade conscious, right? That is a compound modifier. It is modifying the teacher. So we would hyphenate this. Yes, hyphenated. And then we have this 47, which is this compound number here. So we would use hyphens in this situation, and they would be used correctly here. Let's take a look at the second sentence. The 47-year-old teacher. Now that comes with this right here. Yes, you hyphenate year old. Was grade conscious. Notice that we have grade conscious after the teacher, so we would not hyphenate it like we did in the first sentence here. And let's talk about this 47-year-old. Well, here's what's happening here. We are hyphenating 47 no matter what. And the year old is basically modifying the teacher. So this is being used as an adjective to describe the teacher, the 47-year-old teacher. So notice that we would hyphenate that. So you do want to hyphenate that. Now let's look at example 3. She is a 47-year-old. Okay. Now you might say, well, why did you hyphenate this if there's no noun over here for it to modify? Well, the reason why we would hyphenate it is because the noun is implied here. You're saying she is a, this a means that you are talking about a noun, right? A something, a tree, a woman, a man, a door. Well, 47-year-old is an adjective. We assume that the noun is implied. When I say she is a 47-year-old, we are really saying she is a 47-year-old person. She is a 47-year-old woman. She is a 47-year-old teacher. So in this case, the noun is implied and you would still hyphenate 47-year-old. Now, if I just said she is a teacher who is 47 years old, I would just hyphenate 47. I wouldn't hyphenate the years old. But this, she is a 47-year-old, is like almost like a cliffhanger. She's a 47-year-old person, woman, teacher, whatever noun you want to put in there. And that's why it would be hyphenated there. And the last way you would use a hyphen is to avoid confusion. So you can see here, let's take a look at these two sentences here. Be sure to re-sign the petition. Well, that means you need to sign it again, right? Maybe they lost the petition or they're sending it out again or whatever. So re-sign would be appropriate here. Because if I just said re-sign like this, that's actually resign. This is why the English language is so difficult, because there are so many nuances and things that do not follow the rules. So in this case, she will resign from her job. This is essentially spelled the same, except this hyphen avoids any kind of confusion there. All right, let's take a look at this next one. The design is shell-like. Now notice, shell-like, if I were to say that's a shell-like design, for sure you would hyphenate shell-like before if it came before design. But in this case, it comes after, and you might say, well, Dr. Jasper, why would I hyphenate that? Because if you didn't hyphenate it, look at, there's 3 L's in this word, S-H-E-L-L-L-I-K-E. That would be weird. So sometimes you will hyphenate it. And if you're ever confused, just put it in front of the word design. You could say the shell-like design was interesting or something like that, or choose a different word. You can always like rearrange things or choose a different word to save you in your writing if you're not sure. But shell-like, if it were one word, it would be weird. It would have too many L's, too many consonants together. And then let's take a look at this one. He is semi-independent. Now, if I said the semi-independent worker was occupied or something like that, semi-independent would be modifying worker. But in this case, he is semi-independent. It's coming at the end and it's coming after he, right? So it's modifying he, but it's doing it after. And usually the rule is you don't hyphenate. But look what happens if it's one word here. I get two I's together like that, semi-independent, and it doesn't work. And we can see that in this as well. Take the post-test. Take the post-test, and post-test is hyphenated. Although now we do see sometimes post-test is one word. So sometimes it's a style thing too. But in any case, when we're avoiding confusion, sometimes it's best to choose a different word if you're not sure about the hyphen, especially in situations like this. But yes, to avoid confusion. Yes, when it comes to compound numbers. And yes, when it comes to a compound modifier before the noun it's modifying. No, when it comes to a compound modifier, when it comes after the noun it is modifying. All right. So hopefully that clears things up for you when it comes to when and how to use a hyphen. Of course, these are confusing concepts and grammar can be complicated, but I love grammar. I hope you are getting a lot out of our grammar videos as well. I'll link a few of our grammar videos up in the description below so you can check out some other ones there. And let us know any of these grammar questions you might have in the comments, and I'll be happy to do a video on them. I get this question a lot, so I decided to just go ahead and do a YouTube video. Thank you so much for watching today. Give us a thumbs up if you liked this video. Also consider subscribing and let your colleagues know we're here. Have a great day.